China's defense minister says conditions along the tense high-altitude border with India are stable overall. In sharp contrast with a far more pessimistic view from New Delhi, the remarks from Li Shangfu came in a statement issued after meeting with his Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi. Now, we already know that the statement that had come in from Mr. Rajnath Singh said those relations were eroded because of bilateral relations. We're going across to my colleague Akash, who joins us with more perspective on this. Akash, we already know what Rajnath Singh had said, our defense minister. Now, statement coming in from the defense minister of China. He says that actually this is a stable situation, contrary to whatever New Delhi is saying.
Yes, and in fact, it is very surprising that, two important words, disengagement and de-escalation. So there is no mention. In fact, China has maintained it. In fact, from last 3 years, they have never accepted this fact that they have violated several sort of existing agreements. And this statement is somewhere saying it in a broader way. In fact, if I can quote, General Lee pointed out that currently the situation on China-India border is generally stable and the two sides have maintained communication through military and diplomatic channel. The two sides should take a long-term view. So, the stand of China is very clear. While Indian side has confirmed, in fact, has given a clear message that you cannot take tensions at border and also the bilateral relations hand in hand. These two things cannot go together. On the other hand, we have Chinese side that has never accepted that they have actually violated several sort of existing agreements in the eastern Ladakh sector, and also while it is about the disengagement and de-escalation, so they are not saying anything on it. Sources within the Defence Ministry are somewhere confirming that in fact in the meeting yesterday that went for more than 50 minutes, it was very much discussed that we should focus on de-escalation, disengagement first and then the de-escalation, specifically in the Depsang and Demchok area. But on Chinese side, in contrast with what Indian side has said yesterday, this statement is somewhere suggesting that Chinese side is not in fact accepting that we have some sort of escalated conditions at the border areas, and they have actually violated several sort of norms in the past. Also, this is somewhere giving a message, because as far as expectations are concerned, we know that how on 23rd of April, when the 18th round of commander level talks were happening, in fact, in that particular talks, the focus was the de-escalation in the Depsang area. But, nothing concrete came out. And after that particular meeting, after that particular commander level talks, it was expected that now, since ministers are going to meet and defense minister from both the sides are going to meet, first time, in fact, it was the first visit after Galwan clash that we saw where we lost 20 of our brave soldiers. After that, it was the first visit of a defense minister of China. And it was very much expected that, both the sides will be somewhere discussing the border issues and something concrete or some solution will be coming out. However, in contrast to what were the expectations, we are seeing that both the sides are not in fact agreeing to the particular fact that we have some sort of escalated condition at the borders. In fact, China at this point in time is maintaining that borders are stable. Also, they are saying that we should see the long-term approach. So, this is somewhere showing the clear stand and clear intentions of China, that how they are seeing the current situations, current conditions, also as far as future is concerned. So what can be expected out of them?
Akash, considering India's hosting the SCO summit and our Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is going to be chairing that, he would definitely want a conducive meeting and would not want tensions to flare up on the sidelines in that bilateral meeting. So despite those transgressions at Arunachal, India's response has been very measured, but one from China has been one of absolute denial.
Exactly, and the fact of the matter is that we have SCO defense ministers meet going on, but that is not one-on-one. That is not on one-on-one basis. You have several members of the SCO participating in the same meeting, and other than the members, you have observers as well, Iran and Belarus. And in fact, while I'm talking to you, this meeting is going on. But importantly, Shilpa, as you rightly mentioned, this was an important meeting that happened yesterday at around 6:30 p.m. in a hotel here in Delhi. And, everyone was expecting that since defense ministers are meeting, ministers are somewhere handling the forces, and these forces are somewhere, responsible for the stability and the peace in the border areas. But these defense ministers have, at least these statements are somewhere proving that both these ministers have different opinion, different view as far as the condition at the border in the border areas is concerned. But now it will be interesting
I request
to see
you to stay with us, Akash, because currently Akash, I request you to stay with us because we're currently joined by Mr. Sushant Sareen, author and defense expert on this broadcast. Very good morning to you, sir. So while India had put out a very balanced, measured statement about, the transgressions at the border, saying that they erode our relations with China, China there in absolute denial mode. They say that the border situation is stable, no mention of de-escalation or disengagement.
Yeah, that's because the Chinese are trying to give an impression that it's all very normal at what is happening on the LAC. I think the Indian position is far more closer to reality than what the Chinese are trying to pretend it is. And India is clearly saying that the situation is not normal. The situation cannot be normal if you have, over 60,000 troops staring eyeball to eyeball along the LAC. So from the Indian perspective, it's not a normal situation. But the Chinese are trying to give us impression that there's nothing to worry about. Now, this is part of the Chinese plan that, look, we'll keep nibbling away at territory, we'll keep pressurizing you on the border, and yet, we'll pretend that everything is normal, you keep doing business with us. And much as I, feel very offended saying this, but I think it is important to say this, that I think the Chinese are, in a sense, being borne out by what they are trying to do. Because at the end of the day, while there is this standoff taking place at the border, everything else seems to be normal. We seem to be continuing to buy as much as we can from the Chinese. The Indian businessmen will probably sell the country if they can make 10 rupees from, a Chinese importer. So I think that is something which is of serious concern. And that kind of justifies the position the Chinese are taking. That, you keep developing economic relationships, you keep developing ties in other fields, and you ignore what is happening on the border. Something which the government of India is saying we will not ignore, but something which at the practical level they seem to be ignoring.
Sir, absolutely. You're pointing out how diplomacy is a double-edged sword. Thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. But now